This is Mike Kuchar, Senior Researcher at xnolabs.com, looking at some Boise cut-ups here of their motion package and their trade package, tight end wing package. So right now you got that motion from the right side to the left side of the formation. You have the tight end and the H coming over, lined up. Okay, now the key is to watch what the defense does. Let's see what they're playing Fresno State here. Let's see what they do. Okay, so now Fresno State is going to walk down an outside backer. They're typically an under front with a reduction front, which we talked about you're going to get. Okay, if you see a reduction front, a linebacker is going to have to come down. He's not used to playing on that three-man surface or that tight end surface there. Again, he's playing out of position, which some of you could exploit offensively. Boise State runs an outside zone scheme, which 27% of our readers will run out of this shift. So there's that shift. Okay, and again, you got the walk down. You got that will backer who's not used to playing on that position coming down and playing over the tight end. Big advantage for the offense. Not used to taking on any type of pull schemes. Backside puller comes around. You got a big game by the Broncos. Okay, same game. Boise State on the hash here. You're going to get that Y and H trade, a little different formation for Boise. See how Fresno State's going to respond to it. There's a trade, okay, and there's the will backer again, walking down, playing on a three-man surface, which again he's not used to doing. Gap scheme. Most of our readers like to run the gap scheme out of the tight end wing trade, so here it is again. Got that tight end wing. Now it's important that you let them get reset. A lot of the coaches we spoke to said they're going to reset for a second. Okay, then they're going to run the scheme. Okay, got a down block at the point of attack. Here's that will backer. Now used to getting a kick out block, and here comes a backside guard pulling to kick, and you're going to get a crease in the C to D gap here. And there it is. Okay, now this happens kind of quickly. Got another trade coming from the right, the bottom of the screen up top. Boise State's big into putting the formation to the boundary. Let them get set for a second. Will linebacker up top. Outside zone to the boundary. Gets a crease, gets a few yards. Okay, again, here's that will backer, number 53. And anytime you're playing under front, those kids they're nested. You know, they have a three technique here. You know, they're an A gap player. They could run. They can make plays in space. They're the quick type players. Now what happens is when you're going to trade, you're going to get that motion. Now you're going to force him to be tough and play aggressive on the line of scrimmage as a force player. Okay, not to mention you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box. Okay, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential blockers. You got +1 in the run game for Boise. Just a great job by the kid from Fresno hustling down the line of scrimmage, getting on the play. Okay, this is Boise Tulsa. A couple years back, Tulsa's more of an odd front and structure. When you see an odd front and structure, okay, there will be gaps open, mainly the B gap bubbles. Now this is just a simple tight end trade, not a tight end wing. Okay, they go from an unbalanced shift to a regular tight end trade. Get set up. Okay, now I mean you could see from here, you have a big gap disparity. There's a D gap player here and a B gap player. There's a C gap player is wide open. Okay, and he's a second level player. Just watch where the ball hits on the zone play. Okay, again, here's the motion. You got a B gap player, D gap player, no first level C gap player. Okay, excellent tailback by Boise. He's going to see it. He's going to cut it right back into the vacated C gap. Okay, he's supposed to seal off. Wide open C gap here. Running back takes it back. Okay, tight end's at the bottom. He's going to come over. Reset up top. Safety walks down. A little different adjustment. Okay, now we'll let this play out a second here. This is why we're showing it to you. XNOLabs.com has found that anytime you get that type of tight end trade, you get a safety walk down, you have a numbers advantage away from the trade. Run it back away from the trade. Okay, so right now, I mean, realistically, if you split the formation in half, you have to this side in the box 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your numbers are even. Quarterback's not a run threat, at least not for Boise this particular year. Now, this happens pretty quickly. Tight end was up top, comes over, motions to the bottom of the screen into the field side. Okay. Tulsa decides to stay in too high. They're in a 4-down front in this particular sequence. They're staying in too high, run the football. Again, tight end cannot get set on this type of trade. Boise calls this shop. Okay, gets over. Okay, you got an A-gap player and a C-gap player. You got a B-gap bubble. Run the zone scheme. Okay, watch where the ball is going to cut up. You got the A-gap, the B-gaps here. Tight end's got to do a little better job. Okay, but good job by the running back setting up that block, cutting it back inside for 4 or 5 yards. Tight end's up top. Quarterback's going to motion him over. He's going to go to the boundary side into the field side. Okay, not much of an adjustment by Tulsa. Okay, here comes, they're going to rock that safety down now. Now Boise runs that flash sweep motion. We're going to talk about that in another segment. Okay, now if you notice, this is another tight end. Boise was big in this. Line up a tight end in the backfield. Okay, so here comes that trade. B-gap bubble. Reduction, under front. Okay, under front, we talked about this early. When you get that under front, your numbers are probably going to be here. Right up into the B-gap. Nice move by the tailback. So X&O Labs just talked about several ways to use that tight end and to trade that tight end motion to get an extra run surface to help you at the point of attack.